Morning, everybody. Lisa here. Just wanted to say hi. I hail from Dundas, Ontario, new to YouTube, plugging some videos. So I'm trying to get into the habit of recording in the morning. That's when everything is fresh. That's when some of my really interesting thoughts upon waking up that I try to keep fresh with me for as long as I can remember. I try to write everything down. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. So yeah, I woke up. I don't quite recall all that I dreamt about. However, the last image that I remember upon waking up was so simple. I find, and my books are very much premised on this. My last page of all my books is very much about rediscover your inner child, reclaim your inner child, just because everything that I believe is really beautiful, really unjaded, really authentic, comes from the childlike spirit, which, because of a lot of my own healing process and things that have resonated with me, really trying to make sense of a lot of things that have happened in my life, it's really taken me back throughout the course of time to the journey of the inception of my life, childhood, where it all began for me. Some of my earliest recollections, realizations, not necessarily knowing at the time what that all meant, but now, hindsight 2020, piecing some things together. So when I woke up this morning, the last image that I recall in my mind was, when you're a child and you're laying on the floor and you've got your feet up on the wall, you got your feet up on the wall and you're just tapping your toes on the wall and you're just sitting there and you're thinking, and perhaps there's music going on in the background. I was very fortunate to have grown up in a very musical-oriented family. My dad was a former professional musician, and so we had vinyl everywhere and grew up with all the greats, and that was in my dream. I just was laying on the floor. My feet were both up in a V, just, like a V, your legs up like that, on the wall. And I was just tapping on the wall and thinking all these wonderful thoughts, and how my day was going to unfold and what surprises might emerge. And yeah, it was just a lovely way to wake up. And also excited because, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, my children have been spending the Easter weekend with their dad and that side of the family. And I've been speaking to them on the phone, obviously, and finding out what they've been up to and hearing their lovely voices. And I'm really happy that they're coming home today. I love solitude as much as the next person, but I've been finding my house extremely quiet. Too quiet. It's kind of unnerving, actually. And so what I oftentimes do, actually, is I'll just scroll my feed to see what's going on for people. I see what kind of a day they're having and what wonderful things may have transpired since the last time I was on their page or heard anything regarding them. And very sad. One of our friends, Rick Hanson, everybody knows who Rick Hanson is. I met Rick Hanson. When I lived out west, I was on the board of board of directors for the Canadian Paraplegic Association, provincial board, and we had an annual red carpet affair. It was our major annual fundraising event. There was other fundraising events obviously throughout the year. It was a nonprofit association, and of course anybody who's worked in the nonprofit social sector's sphere knows you're expected to do more with less. And what was always lovely about the red carpet affair is all the donations, whether it be derived from the silent auction or the live auction, all the monies generated went right back into client service, not overhead, not people's salaries, nothing. And so we would always, every year, nominate somebody very powerful, very profound, powerful in the sense of empowered, somebody who truly was using whatever their issue was or their cause was to make a huge difference for the lives of all, or those primarily afflicted or affected. And Rick Hanson had been the recipient of the red carpet, the Christopher Reeve Award. Actually, it was the award itself was the Christopher Reeve Award, which at the inception of the red carpet affair through the Canadian Paraplegic Association, the Alberta district, Christopher Reeve was supposed to be the recipient of the first award, and it was around that time that he unfortunately passed and never received it. Very sad, unfortunately. And that was before my time. Obviously, I hadn't lived out west back then and whatnot. So every year going forward, somebody would be nominated to receive the Christopher Reeve Award. And so I was very blessed and very grateful to have met Rick Hanson, who was very instrumental in spinal cord research, and of course his Man in Motion, rolling all through Canada to raise money for spinal cord injury and research. It was such a phenomenal man. And I say this because prior to getting on here to make my video and, thinking about my kids coming home and how much I've been missing them and how much I appreciate them, I scrolled and came across a post that he had put up, and his grandchild, who had just been born April 4th, had passed away. And can't even imagine. So anyway, that really touched me, that really affected me, and of course I responded, I commented, and I just said, love and light, Rick, really sorry for you and your family. XO, my typical XO. And it just all these good things or terrible things that happen to good people, don't understand it. And I've been hearing a lot of that lately, and you do when you get to be this age and you get older. And of course, a lot of our loved ones are older, and so you see them grappling with ailments and disease. Or on the other hand of the spectrum, you see people who have so much life ahead of them, just beginning, just really taking charge of their lives and are full of so much love and inspiration and passion and compassion, and tragedy strikes and robs us of them, regardless of what your beliefs are in the afterlife. And and perhaps why this is resonating with me as well is because my latest guest that I had on my show, my radio show this past Friday, was Dr. Love, Dr. Jamie Turndorf, aka Dr. Love. And so one of her greatest books, it's not her most recent book, her second to last book, it really talks about and was birthed out of the incident related to her late husband, Jean. And he was French, and he was very, very pivotal in the whole religious sphere. He opposed the Pope and really overruled some of the legislation attached to women being allowed to divorce within the church and not being written off by the church for reasons such as just trying to flee being in an abusive relationship, and the fact that shouldn't hinder their ability to be seen, regarded, or be able to participate in church. So I've got my own beliefs. I mean, it's I respect everybody's beliefs, but the interesting part about the conversation was the fact that we really delved into what that book was about. The title escapes me. I'm sorry, Dr. Love, but anyway, it talked about the spirit of the people having left their physical body, their vessel, and the messages that they send us on the other side, reminding us that they're still here. And if the bond is very solid, as it was for Dr. Turndorf and her husband, what came through for her and the witnesses, the people that bore witnesses, whether they knew him, I mean, they certainly knew Dr. Jamie Turndorf, but messages and phones ringing always at 4:58 p.m. and him sending her signs and talking through people and just all kinds of very interesting things. So I think because I researched her quite extensively, and because I just recently had her on my show, like I say, this past Friday, because of some things that are going on for me. There's a lot of shifting going on for me. And of course, the dream that I just had woken up to, and how I end my books. And then again, just what I had read, unfortunately, through Rick Hanson's feed. So yeah, it's, life is, I say this often, and I try not to sound repetitious, but I think when you really believe in something, when something really resonates with you, and it's incorporated into your DNA, and it speaks clearly in whatever you do. Like if you're a writer, if you're a musician, if you're an artist, how you dialogue with people, because it's all indicative and reflective of what's swirling around in your brain and your soul and your heart. And the more you really believe in something, the more you're entrenched in it, you're immersed in it, it really comes out. And so I find a lot of the things that I say or reiterate are could be perceived as seemingly repetitious, but it's just so strong for me. A lot of these very simple, some of them are old adages, some of them are simple concepts, some of them are tools, old tools with a new twist on it, that I've been really interested in and really sponging up and incorporating, like I say, into my DNA. And and as a person who, grew up for many reasons long before my time, just different experiences that have happened to me, different places in my life I've been positioned, different things that I've witnessed as a result of being in social services, having worked in crisis primarily. You see a lot. I've seen a lot of death. I've seen a lot of people really grappling with identity, sexuality, wanting to live, not wanting to live, losing children, losing parents. I've worked with people who have been involved in sexual trade, people who have been in gangs, people who I know who have died as a result of gang affiliated violence. Taking people to the hospital for rape kits. It's unbelievable what I have witnessed, and a lot of it tragic, some of it with wonderful endings, and not endings, because I always say the beginning in my book as well. When you learn something new, or whether it's a level of self-awareness, whether it's something that's been taught, something, an epiphany for you, something that crystallizes things. It could be a result of what Dove Barron calls the fuck it moments. People like Oprah Winfrey call it the aha moments. And there's always the in-between of the two. So I'm really grateful for the fact that I truly am grateful, and I really understand and grasp the concept of time and the fragility of time and the fragility of people and the human spirit. And, because I do say, which is based on the fact I truly live my life like this, based on the fact I believe this, is, every day is a gift. And for every day that I wake up here and I get to once again enjoy the people in my life, and I get to see another day of growth for my children and the adventures I get to see them go on, and I get to be a part of with them, and being on an adventure ride with them, and just seeing how other people are manifesting wonderful things in their lives, or how they have really cathartically risen from the depths of despair, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be big name people. I'm really not into all that notoriety. People may assume that because of some of the names that I've had on my show, or the fact that I plug them, which is that's what you do. You support people and you plug them. And I do it with people whose names may not be household. I do it with people's names who are world renowned. It's not about that for me. What I'm really enamored, and what I respect and what I admire, is the journey. It's, where did this story start for you? You know, where did this adventure that you've been on, that's whether it had having arisen from a moment of darkness, or you know, something you were internally struggling with, battling with, but you know, your willpower, your tenacity, your resiliency, your attitude, it all prevailed, which, you know, because our souls are so powerful, and when we are determined and when we're focused to overcome things and to rise, you know, people take it to such a level that, you know, sometimes you do hear their names. They are well renowned, whether it's because they've written a memoir, or, you know, they've put in their darkness into lyrics and it's like hit the charts, or, you know, or it could be anything. So I just love people. I love people from all walks of life. I love listening to people's stories. I love knowing what makes them tick, where they get their inspiration from, who their mentors are, you know, what some of their own revelations have been that have really catapulted them onto the path that they're on, that they deem to be, you know, a very clear path, one that's totally enriched their lives, one that nourishes their souls. I just love that stuff. I can't get enough of that. And, you know, so I'm finding I'm regressing in a lot of wonderful ways back to my childlike spirit, you know, because I really believe that's where we all have seen the beauty. You know, we don't see the discrepancies, we don't see the inequities, or maybe and that's not necessarily true, because, you know, when you're learning the skills and you know, the social skills of interacting and taking turns and sharing, you know, we all learn it there. But it's the struggle, you know, it's the struggle of really understanding those concepts, which we can now say are basic and necessary, you know, to adapt into society and to live cohesively with our neighbors and with our friends and our family, and do what we need to do to find resolution to things, you know, at the macro level, at the micro level. So this is a little bit of a mishmash. I never quite know where this is going. I don't always plan to be making videos planted on my couch, but it's not very often I get to just sit and just enjoy the quietness and you know, being quiet with my thoughts and in the presence of just myself, although I feel the spirit of my children all around me, and I'm very much looking forward to them coming home. And I hope it's been a wonderful weekend for all of you. I hope you have a great day. And I just want to say thank you once again for your support and the presence. I mean, some of you, your energies are off the charts. I just love how bright you are. You know, it's always the same people I see on everybody else's feed, very much supporting, very much rallying, very much involved in their community, trying to better things, trying to bring peace to things and bring peace to people's lives in their own relationships within that. I just love watching all that stuff unfold. It's been beautiful, and there's a handful of you in particular who I just, you know, I follow you. You may not know it, but I follow you, and I derive a lot of inspiration, a lot of pleasure, a lot of insight. A lot of my own revelations have come from what you've chosen to share and to risk. And for people who are vulnerable, I love vulnerability. You know, that's where you see the core of who people are. You know, you just put it all out there. And one of my recent interviews, again on radio, that I had with Gord Depp, and I've said this before. You know, I've said this in just my own posting on Facebook and whatnot. But, you know, when you experience a moment of trepidation or fear or reluctance, you know, the mantra that I have now adopted, maybe it's already out there and I don't know it, but this is, you know, I feel like I've kind of coined this for myself. And I just say, you know, Lisa, you know, and again, without trying to sound morose, we're all going to die. You know, we're all going to die. And You know, what is the legacy you choose to leave behind? How do you wish to be remembered? And for me, I don't want to be remembered as somebody who didn't take risks, you know, bottled up what I felt I had something to say to spread to the world. You know, and of course, you know, I don't profess to be anything. I'm, you know, it's not about guru or expert or, you know, it's not about any of that. There's no ego attached to it. It's just I'm sharing the journey of what I'm learning about myself, and the fear that I've embraced and what I'm stepping into regularly and putting myself out there. And without going into all the details, you know, for many years of my life when I was a child, my voice was stifled, you know, and I'm not saying that as a result of my parents or, you know, nothing like that. Just some experiences that happened in my life where I felt rendered powerless, and wasn't able to use my voice or wasn't heard, or just wasn't seen as a person. So, you know, because I've done a lot of work on myself and I'm doing a lot of healing, and a lot of wonderful things are showing up in my life because I'm prepared to dig deep and roll up my sleeves and look in the mirror and question things, ponder things, assess myself, you know, what I like, what I don't like necessarily, what I'd like to improve upon. You know, I as I said in my message yesterday, and why I love doing radio, it's the power of voice. And so, you know, again, going back to what I was just saying, if I have a moment of trepidation or fear or angst about something, but I feel a calling to do it, I feel compelled to do it, or intuitively or energetically it's resonating with me. So I just, you know, I say, Lisa, we're all going to die. Do it. Just do it. I mean, what's going to happen? Someone's going to laugh. Someone's going to, you know, oh, you know, she jumbled up her words, or, you know, she said something incorrectly or out of context, or, you know, or she mispronounced somebody's name, or, you know, who cares? Who cares? You know, and for those who sit back and judge and wait for somebody to fall, wait for somebody to mess up, or, you know, what's that all about? You know, I don't take that personally, because that's, whatever that is, that's not about me. I don't own that. I don't take that stuff on. I'm here because I want to see everybody succeed, and everybody defines that very differently. And succeeding for me is stepping into fear, you know, honoring and reclaiming my voice, and sending out the messages which I know are powerful for me, that I know it's got to resonate with somebody on some level. And I don't do it for notoriety. I don't do it for pats on the back. I don't do it for accolades. I don't even care if people even ever mention it to me. You know, for the amount of times in my life where I really felt alone, really felt like I was fumbling my way through things, without a roadmap, without guidance, and sometimes without example or leadership. You know, I really looked to books, and I was really gravitated to other people's autobiographies and memoirs, you know, and radio talk shows like Oprah Winfrey, and, you know, people putting their shit all out there, and just saying, God, like, this happened to me, but this is what I chose to do with it. You know, I didn't choose to become a statistic. I didn't choose to feel sorry for myself, or, you know, or put this out here to generate sympathy. You know, I'm not asking for anything. I don't want money. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to share my message, because in my times of darkness, of having, looking out there, seeing what's available, other people's messages, and many of which resonated with me and really, really, truly helped me at the core level. That's all I'm doing, you know. So it's not for everyone. You know, people express themselves very differently. A lot of people are very introverted, and I have that level of me too. I like my quiet time, and I don't express everything that goes on inside of me. You know, and I write. It comes out in my writing. It comes out in, you know, the things I try to do that are positively memorable for how I spend time with my children. The things that we talk about together, the things that are special and sacred for us. And, you know, I've got my close circle of friends who know me very well and love me unconditionally. and have been there to triumph during the great times, have been there to pick me up when it's been a big hot mess. and and I'm constantly just in awe of how other people live their lives, whether they're public figures or just, just how people run their household, or how people spend their time, or just gravitating towards how other people think and what they're manifesting for themselves. Under the radar, on the radar, it doesn't really matter. I appreciate and love it all. So anyway, that's kind of the space that I'm in today. So thinking of you, Rick Hanson, all my love to your family if you see this. I'll likely be sending you a private message, so sorry. And really excited that my children are coming home. Grateful that I have my children who are healthy and able-bodied and full of spirit and grit and just firing on all pistons. It's loud here. It gets really loud here. It's crazy. A lot of wall art. A lot of things trashed. And I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. And so thank you. And have a wonderful day. Lisa McDonald from Dundas, Ontario, Canada. LisaMcDonaldAuthor.com. All my best. Have a great day. Bye-bye.